Hello?
Yes, sir. Now it is audible.
Error.
Start பண்ணிக்கலாங்களா சார்? Yes, sir. So good morning to all the participants for this 5 days AICT sponsored faculty development program on secrets of human bioenergy fields and subconscious mind. So right now we are on day 3, that is on Wednesday. So today's session, that is session 7, it will be handled by the keynote speaker, Mr. Madhimaran. So in fact, so to speak about him and to tell the introduction words are not enough to tell about him. So he's having such a very big profile in the area of establishing spiritual connections. So Mr. Madhimaran is an industrialist, is owning a granite company, is doing business in the area of granite stones. So moreover, he is interested in the area of pranic healing and pranic psychotherapy, and he is in the field for about 20 years, and he is a renowned industrialist. He has also visited many countries like Thailand, Singapore, Bangkok, Japan, etc. He has delivered various speeches around the globe. So he is not a local speaker, he is an international renowned speaker, and he is a certified pranic healer and pranic healing trainer, and also he is also a pranic psychotherapist in the organization of Pranic Healing Foundation. So in fact, so we are continuously speaking with Mr. Madhimaran to have his time. So at this junction, I would like to express my sincere thanks and gratitude to Mr. Madhimaran sir for kindly inviting our invitation and for giving his gracious time to have to share some of his thoughts on this wonderful session. Sir, thank you very much for being a part of this wonderful faculty development program, sir. So on behalf of our management, Sona College of Technology, so as well as our own department, we would like to express our sincere thanks and gratitude for being accepted our invitation. So thank you very much, sir, Madhimaran sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So now it is over to you, and you can take up the session, sir. The topic of today's session will be spiritual essence of man, and sir will be discussing in and out concepts of spirituality with respect to a man, how we have to be. So in terms of gratitude, compassion, love, and about our karma. So he will be discussing in his own style. So now it is over to sir. Yes, sir. You may proceed, sir.
Greetings to all of you. Now, this topic, spiritual essence of man, I'm trying to represent this in a scientific manner. When we say spiritual, people sometimes do not connect it as an inner science. They look at it as something very abstract and cannot be related to science. But truth is, spirituality is inner science, right? So we will go in that direction of trying to understand what the word man means and who is it referring to. Now, if you look at the root word for man, it came from the word manas. Now, manas in Sanskrit is connected with Manu, symbolically representing the person who thinks. So a man is a person who thinks, and man does not mean it is gender related. Man is an entity that thinks. It refers to both genders, right? Male and female. So who's a man? A man is somebody who is capable of thinking, which means for thinking, the person should have an apparatus, right? Like, for example, if the person has to think Whatever he or she thinks has to be recorded in a certain place, and based on whatever he has recorded, he will go for his references for retrieving the data, right? Like if you have a computer and the hard disk has all the data. So whenever you want to present the data, you will go back to the hard disk, retrieve the data, collect it from there, and then you will present it, right? So a man is an entity that thinks. It's not connected with something called a gender referring to only male. It's male and female. Now, if you study the anatomy of man, again meaning human, human in this case, the structure of the body is taken for study, right? The study of the structures of the human body. I have put it as visible and invisible. What do I mean by that? Anatomy is something to do with studying physical structures, right? I also take into account invisible one because some of the organs in the body are visible. Some of the organs are not visible. The not visible organs are cells and the tissues, which are not visible to the naked eye, but there is an anatomy to that also, right? So whenever we say we are studying the anatomy, it is always referring to the body. It is not connected with the man. It is the body of the man. So I'm separating these two, the body and the man. And who is a man? A man is somebody or an entity that is capable of thinking and even feeling for that matter, right? Okay. If you study the body and its organs, we, in scientific terminology, we understand that the body functions mainly because of electricity. That is quite shocking for many people to hear, right? Because whenever you say the functioning ability of the body, it runs like a beautiful machine, right? And it runs because of electricity. I'll try to go into that details actually. If body is an equipment which runs because of electricity, we can say it is a amazing equipment in the sense like something like so which means the body has wonderful wiring and ability to receive electricity and function using electricity. The question is, how do you know that the body is functioning because of electricity? Is there a proof for that? We can give you many proofs here. So we will try to connect to some of the data here. If you look at the electrocardiogram, which is called ECG, so if you want to test the functioning ability of the heart, we normally recommend, a doctor normally recommends the person to take an ECG, right? So what does a ECG do? It records the electrical activity of the heart. So if the heart is functioning at the normal rate, then the ability of the flow of electricity through the heart can be recorded and the pattern, the graph can be studied. So based on the graph, the quality and the functioning ability of the heart can be analyzed. So if there is some abnormality, the graph will show deviation, meaning the electrical spikes that comes out from the heart is not harmonious. It is creating certain fluctuations or peaks and lows, right? If there is high peaks and lows in the graph, the doctor would recommend further study of the heart, meaning there's something wrong with the electrical impulses that is uh, making the heart react differently. So based on these electrical impulses, it's like they understand that the heart is functioning normally or it is going through troubled times. Basically, if you study this, ECG is nothing but the ability of the heart to regulate the electrical flow. Okay. Now, if you look at the activity of the brain, The functioning ability of the brain is read through electroencephalogram, popularly called as EEG. Now, EEG is a test that detects electrical activity in your brain. They put some small electrodes on the scalp, and then they pass certain electrical impulses. They also read the electrical impulses that come from the brain when certain activities are suggested or given. Like if the person is asked to think about certain things, how does electrical impulses jump? Right? There are studies that are done by making the person look at a PowerPoint program or a TV or a computer, and then they were asked to see various slides that come up, right? Every time the person sees something beautiful, the electrical impulses in the brain are very smooth and functional. But when there are scary images like a snake about to come out of the screen and, bite the person, or an accident that is shown, the electrical impulses in the brain, the activity of electrical impulses in the brain, they showed spikes, meaning it it jumped in a high peak and a low manner. So what are we trying to say? The ability of the brain, or the functioning ability of the brain, is read through the electrical impulses that the brain stimulates and uses. So literally meaning the brain literally controls the whole body, and if the brain is able to function because of electricity, then it means that the whole body functions because of electricity, because the whole body is controlled and regulated by the brain. Now, if you look at the muscles of the body, which the muscles are so important because heart is a big muscle, brain is a big muscle, and every muscle, if you want to study the functioning ability of the muscles, how effectively the muscles are functioning, they have a test called EMG test. So it is called the electromyograph. Now, the electromyograph is nothing but an electrical activity, right? The muscle's response or electrical activity in response to the nerve stimulus of the muscle. So every time certain activity is given to the muscles conducts this electricity and shows as certain active response, which is read by EMG, electromyograph. Again, to make it clear, what are we trying to say here is that our body is a beautiful electronic equipment which functions using electricity. This is shocking, right? So the question is, where is this electricity produced? Is it produced inside the body or it is outside the body? Let's make a small study or analysis on this. Now, electricity is used in a house. It's not manufactured in a house. It comes through the electrical transformer that is outside the house, and then electricity is projected into the house. Using the electricity, the equipments in the house are able to function. Similarly, the body and the brain does not, the body, the brain and the heart, the muscles, they do not produce electricity. Electricity comes in to the body through external connection. The question is, where is this external connection? It's like God made this body, and the technology to run this body cannot be very simple, right? It has to be extremely powerful, extremely complex. So there's no physical wiring that is seen, but this electrical energy comes from above the crown, which enters the crown and then goes into various parts of the body. These electrical impulses are registered at least in three main places. One is the heart, another one is the center of the brain, another one is a center much closer to the solar plexus and the liver. So these three places, the three electrical impulses are registered in the brain, the heart, and then the liver and the solar plexus area. Through this, electricity is projected into various organs and the body is able to function. Right? The next question is, I mean, if I ask this statement to a medical doctor, they would acknowledge this. All doctors acknowledge that heart functions because of electricity, brain functions because of electricity, muscles function because of electricity. But if we ask them, where is this electricity produced? They would not know the reason for it. They would not even know how electricity enters the body and how it is able to make the body function. They see the organs, they understand and study the organs, and they understand this is how it functions. They're able to get the electrical impulses or the electrical activity through electrocardiogram, electroencephalogram, and electromyography. Okay, now my question, friends, is here. What happens if the electricity is shut down? Right? When you have power cut, what happens? Nothing in the body functions. So what will happen to the body? If this electricity is cut, which means the heart will not be able to function, the brain will not be able to function, and then the muscles will not be able to function, obviously, obviously the body will be considered as dead. So my very important question here is, do you really understand how this electricity flows and how we are able to regulate this electricity by proper study? Right? I'm trying to give you key ideas which will stimulate your mind to think in a certain way and change your life completely. This discussion will throw new light in the minds of people who are listening. And from this day onwards, the way you seek for things, not necessarily physical, but that invisible, vital energy that runs the whole body, you will start searching for it. Okay, let's see on this. What happens when this electrical activity stops? Of course, the body dies, right? Now, when we understand the science of the electricity in human body, which gives life to the body, we call it spirituality. So, what is called spiritual is understanding the subtle energy of the soul. Now, the soul is in some way divine. The question is, how do you know that the soul, which is not visible to the naked eye, is divine? So, we need to regulate, we need to understand these parts. And what is the meaning of the word spirituality? Is spirituality connected with science? The truth is, yes. What runs the whole physical body is the spiritual essence or the divine essence of man. Man is just the energy that pours through. Man is a being. A being is something which is made out of subtle energy. What is seen with the physical eye is the body. The body is still operated by the true man. And who is the true man? We need to understand that part. The spiritual essence of man relates to the study of the true anatomy of the man, not the body of the man. So I'm trying to differentiate here, friends. The body is something like a vehicle, something like a car, and then the one who drives the car is a driver, right? So the driver, in this case, if body is the car, then there is something which drives this body. We call that the man, right? And every time we refer to the body, doctors refer to the human body. They say it's human body. They don't say the man. They don't say, I'm studying the anatomy of man. They say, I'm studying the anatomy of human body, right? Body, that is physical. But the man who runs this body or uses this body is different from the body. The study of the electricity of the body is called the study of the soul. Now, I have to connect here something very special. Electricity is not seen by the naked eye. right? You see the physical wire, but you don't see the electricity that passes through the wire. But when you touch it, it gives you a shock. So you know something is going through that. And without that flow of electricity, you know for sure no equipment can function. And everybody in this present scenario will agree and accept this. Okay. Now the study of this electrical current or electricity, manufacturing this electricity, or the ability to receive electricity from the sun, which is the source of all living things on this solar system, right? From the sun comes the life. Without the sun, there is no life in this solar system. So, electricity, which is connected with the study of the soul, is something that originates from the essence of the sun. Okay, everything that comes from the sun helps life to sustain on planet Earth. Okay, here. So that study of electricity, which is connected with the study of the soul, we're calling it as inner studies or the study of invisible subtle energy. I'm calling it inner studies because this is not visible to the naked eye. It is abstract. So something like the study of electricity, you cannot see it, but then you can manufacture it, you can use it. Similarly, the energy of the soul, since it's so subtle, it cannot be picked up by the human eye, but its presence can be definitely felt. Its presence can be felt, and if we cannot feel the essence of the soul, then the body starts disintegrating. The body, which was living for 50 to 70 or even 80, 90 years, moment the soul energy is removed from the body disintegrates within few hours. So what keeps the body intact and functional is the energy of the soul. Literally, if you want to use a scientific word, you can say the electricity that runs the body. Okay. Now, this technology of electricity that is run by the body, which is called the soul, is amazingly taught by a great spiritual teacher called Master Chowa Kaksui. Master Chowa Kaksui is a modern founder of pranic healing and arhatic yoga. He's an amazing international lecturer, author of several books, and philanthropist. This teacher is a chemical engineer by profession, and then he lived in Philippines. His background is from the Chinese tradition. The parents are from the Chinese tradition. He's a Filipino of Chinese descent. An exceptional philanthropist, amazing author, fantastic healer, and a great spiritual teacher. Now, he devised this system of understanding that energy which is invisible. He understood how the energy of electricity, which is called the energy of the soul, uses the body, and how this soul, using the body, evolves into something greater. Right? We'll try to connect to that science right now. I've taken one reference from the book written by this teacher, one of the very amazing books called Achieving Oneness with the Higher Soul. Now, from this book, I have an illustration which I will share it with you. Now, every person has a physical body, right? Now, this physical body is able to operate because of electrical impulses. These electrical impulses come from above. It comes from the Supreme Being, right? Now, this Supreme Being in Sanskrit is called Parabrahman. Now, this divine energy, as it comes down into the physical body, is very high potential, right? This very high potential divine energy, if it enters in full flow, the body will vaporize. The body will get destroyed instantaneously. This is much similar to the electricity which is produced in a thermal power plant or a, hydro power plant, right? If in a thermal power station, huge volumes of electricity is produced, but then that electricity which is produced is not given into the house directly. It comes to the house through various step-down transformers. These step-down transformers make sure that the very high power of the electricity is stepped down to the extent the equipments in the house can handle it effectively. Similarly, the electrical impulse that is coming from God, we call that Supreme Being, or in Sanskrit Parabrahman, is stepped down at various stages. One of the step down transformers in Sanskrit is called Paramatma. In English, we call it divine spark, right? It is further stepped down as a huge impact of spiritual energy called Atma, right? In English, we call it higher soul. And then this divine energy, which is stepped down by the Atma, before it enters the physical body, is further stepped down. And that step down energy projects itself downwards into the body. So, in other words, the Atma extends a portion of itself safely for the body to handle. This step down energy is called Jivatma. The word Jivatma refers to two words, Jeev meaning life and Atma meaning the energy from the soul. So the energy from the soul gives life to the body. So that's why it's called Jivatma or Jeev Atma. So this electricity which comes down from God is the one that runs the physical body. The study of this soul energy, why does it come in, how does it come in, where does it come from, is a quite interesting subject to discuss about. Okay, here. Now, the true man is a spirit, right? Obviously, if you look at it, for anything that has to be created, there is something called spirit and something called matter. The combination of spirit and matter produces something called life. Now, once the spirit is separated from matter, that life is removed from the matter, then the matter disintegrates. Now, this is something which is worth studying about. Example, if we have a solid, which is nothing but a group of atoms brought together and compressed. So these atoms and molecules, they arrange themselves in a certain manner so that they could form a solid shape. The shape of the body is destined or derived from the molecules that go to make it, right? Even though it looks seemingly solid, the atoms and the molecules are spaced apart. So if they are spaced apart, they keep moving. What is considered as solid is not solid, it is compressed energy that is moving. So our body is something like that. Our body is made of atoms and molecules. These atoms and molecules are compressed together to look solid, but the truth is they are energy moving within this solid substance. If there is energy moving, then from within the body and just outside the body, the radiance of this energy is definitely going to be there, right? So this is how the body stays intact. But to make the body functional, we need the energy from the spirit to govern and run this matter, right? So what gives life is the spirit which enters the matter. We call that the soul. It is the soul that gives life to the body. Once the soul energy is removed, the body is considered as dead, meaning the body will start the matter will start disintegrating. Now, so if you want to define what is the energy of the soul made up of, we can say soul is pure energy with divine consciousness. Okay, I want you to understand. Now, what we consider as the man is this divine energy or the divine spirit. Now, this divine spirit, as it enters the matter, produces the soul, which has the essence of this divine spirit. In Hindu tradition, we call it Paramatma. It is the Paramatma which incarnates in the body. When the Paramatma incarnates, a portion of the Paramatma, as it uses the matter, becomes the Atma. The Atma is the one that runs the show, right? But the essence comes from the Paramatma or the divine spark. Now, if soul is pure energy with divine consciousness, then what is the energy of the soul made up of? Now, very popularly in every world religion, they talk about the Trinity, right? They call it the divine intelligence, divine love, and divine power. In every world religion or in every energy system, the existence of divine intelligence is obvious and it is there for everybody to see. In the divine Hindu tradition, divine intelligence is called Brahma. Now, Brahma is a creative intelligence which is the creator, creator of life, creator of all forms. It is the intelligence that uses matter, right? It's called Brahma. The same word in the Christian tradition, they call it God, the Holy Spirit, right? Now, if you are a person who does not believe in God, if you are focused on energy and if you are focused on science, you will say, I don't want to call that Brahma or the Holy Spirit. I would say there is an intelligence that's extremely, extremely powerful, far superior than our human intelligence, which runs the whole show because there seems to be so much order in space. So, if so much order is there in space, there must be some intelligence which runs the show. So, that intelligence, which is extremely, extremely powerful, the great scientists will say that is omniscient intelligence, extremely powerful intelligence. And the point is, we do not know how to name this intelligence because the moment you name it Brahma, it becomes Hindu. The moment you name it Holy Spirit, it becomes Christian. You name it God, you become religious. And then if you name it spiritual, you talk about energy, right? The scientists call it also energy. So everybody, from the scientist to the believer in the system of God or the non-believer, they all understand that the universe is run by a great, great intelligence. Whether you call it divine or not, everybody will acknowledge the presence of an extremely powerful, intelligent being which runs this whole universe. I'm using that word omniscient. It is an extremely powerful intelligence, right? Even though it has intelligence, it has to preserve life. And to preserve life, we need something called love, right? So I use the word divine love because it is extremely high order of love. Now, in the Hindu tradition, they call it Vishnu. So they say Vishnu is a preserver. The same is the truth with the Christian tradition. They call it God the Son. And then the people who understand energy call this extremely loving intelligence which is responsible for preserving all living creatures, living and non-living creatures on planet Earth, has to be such a kind being, right? Extremely loving and kind being. So the word omniprovident is very, very apt actually. It provides living sustenance or substance for everything that lives and moves within the solar system. So that great being is a manifestation of love. You can call it Vishnu, you can call it God the Son or the Christ, or you can even call it omniprovident force. Okay, now the third one is power, divine power. So you have divine intelligence, divine love, and divine power. In the Hindu tradition, we call this Shiva. In the Christian tradition, we call this God the Father. And then in the field of energy, we call it this extremely powerful energy is so powerful that you cannot even think about the powers it can generate. So I say it is extremely, extremely potent. We call it omnipotent. So, omniscience, omniprovident, omnipotent are three aspects of one great being, right? You cannot separate intelligence, you cannot separate love, you cannot separate power. They are also inside us because that which we call the soul, which is the electrical impulse, which comes from God, actually is made of three basic qualities. Now, these three basic qualities allows us to understand that we have intelligence, we have love, and we have power. Literally meaning we have Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma within us. These three put together is called one. That is why in the Hindu tradition, even though they have different temples for these three deities, they all say Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma are one, but they do not know how it is called one because now this three is not actually God, this is energy which has these three qualities. So the aspect of intelligence of creation is called Brahma. The aspect which preserves all lives and all things that lives and moves within the planet is called Vishnu. So there must be a planet Vishnu, there must be a solar Vishnu, and a greater universal Vishnu, which takes care of all living within that area space. And it is just not intelligence and love that will be useful to live. We need extremely powerful energy to manifest certain things, right? To do, to accomplish, to produce results, we need power. That power comes from the omnipotent force, which we call Shiva, right? So if you ask, what is the essence of the soul made of? Soul is pure energy with divine consciousness. Now, when I say divine consciousness, it has these three aspects. We call it Trinity: divine intelligence, divine love, and divine power. Okay, are we talking science or are we talking spirituality? We're talking about inner science, which is the science of the soul, which is the electricity that the heart, the brain, and the muscles record. I'm talking about the soul, literally the energy that keeps the body alive, which is a science then, right? Just because it is not visible, we cannot say soul does not exist. You also do not see electricity, but you know for sure electricity exists. You cannot see with your naked eye. Similarly, the soul cannot be seen with the naked eye by ordinary people, but there are people uh, who can actually see the essence of the soul. Okay, not necessarily through the eyes, through other energy centers in the body, which we call chakras. Okay, the soul uses the mind to produce thoughts and feelings. My friends, this is very valid question again. So when you say thoughts and feelings, do you know where it is generated and who generates this thought and feelings? Now, if you're there, you can answer this question also. Because the thought, everybody will say, you cannot think about something that you don't know. So for a thought to originate, you should know about it already, right? So the body, which is an amazing electronic equipment, has five sense organs. Now, these sense organs are used by the soul to collect information about the objects. Eye is one sense organ. The soul uses the eye as a window to pierce through the object, see the object, and then understand the image, and then it records it in the brain. Right? The brain is a storage disk which collects information from all the sense organs and preserves it in the brain as memory. So if there is hard disk and if there is data inputted and saved properly, it is of no use to anyone until there is an user for the hard disk. So example, if I'm using this computer, the computer has a hard disk. I am the computer user and that is the hard disk. So I need to use the computer and access the data from the hard disk and then I need to do something about it. Using this data, I need to do or process. So the one using the computer is not the computer. Similarly, the one who's using the mind is not the mind. The mind is a beautiful equipment which produces thoughts and feelings. If there is an equipment, there should be a person who uses the equipment. That person who uses the equipment, you call it the man or the soul. The soul is not the body. The soul is not the mind. The soul is not the thoughts and the feelings it produces using the mind. This is completely different. A person is different from his creations. Example, if I am the creator, I can create objects, right? I can create items. Like if I am the carpenter, I can make tables and furniture. If I am the programmer, I can create programs. These programs are not necessarily seen by the naked eye, but the existence of the program can be used in order to run certain machines, certain events, and it can be used to produce certain results. But you need somebody who will program it. So if you have a body, then you need somebody who operates this body. You are not the body. I am is not the body. I am is a soul that uses the body, which uses the mind. Right? Now, the existence of this I am within the body is beautifully read by the doctors using electrical impulses. That is shocker for many people, right? They do not understand that soul has tremendous electrical impulses, and that soul is the I am. That God essence within us is also called the soul. Now, now, if you have something called the mind, because the soul uses the mind in order to produce thoughts and feelings, right? So then you have something called conscious mind and then the subconscious mind. Okay, let me define this actually clearly. Again, going back to the essence of man, the man is not connected with any gender. The word man is not connected with any gender. Gender are two, right? We have male and female, right? We have other genders also right now, but primarily male and female. Now, both are called man, but the body is called as male body or female body. The one uses the body is the man. Now, man does not have gender. Man is the electrical impulse or energy that comes from God, which actually uses the body. It does this to evolve. Okay, that's why the definition of soul is pure energy with divine consciousness. So when you are conscious, in other words, when you are aware that you are the soul, it means you are conscious. This is something very nice. I'm not sure whether I can see all of you right now. Is there an option, sir? Can I see the windows here? Can anybody hear me? Are you there? Hello? Are you able to hear me? Everybody is so quiet. Is there any response? Can you hear? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Uh, when is there any opportunity for us to have an interaction, sir? can people open up the window and see something, or if they want to ask some questions to me? So far, can they ask?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, once you start finish your presentation, we have a discussion, sir. Up to after 11, we are. If you want to discuss in between, also you can do that, sir.
How do I do that, sir? Can I, if I have to open up the conversation right now?
Yes, sir. In the chat box already you can see that participants are been uh, chatting.
Okay, okay, through the chat. Okay,
Okay, we will open up their microphone so that they can talk with you, sir. Until then, you can continue, sir. We will open that.
thanks.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now if soul is pure energy with divine consciousness, then every time you are aware that you are the soul, it means you're conscious. But then, if you look at ordinary people, the way they use the word consciousness is very different from the true meaning of consciousness, right? Now, if somebody faints or if the person has fallen down and he's not conscious anymore, meaning there is no awareness of who this person is, the person has fainted, right? People will look at this person and say, hey, this person is not conscious, right? The person has fallen down, is not conscious right now. So, what are you trying to say? The body is still alive, the body is breathing, but who is conscious here? The body is still alive, right? Even though the person has fainted and fallen down, it's almost something like sleeping. But if the body is sleeping, who is conscious here? The man, which is the soul, is the one that is conscious. Okay. If you know who you are, it means that you are conscious. Now, your eyes can be open, but if you don't know who you are, and if you think you are the body, in this case, you are not conscious of who you are. You are not even conscious of your divine nature, and probably you are looking at yourself as the body. In this case, even though the eyes are open, it just means the person is not conscious. So, what is this word commonly used? Right? We have something called conscious mind and subconscious mind. We define the mind as an intelligence that is used by the soul in order to think and feel. The truth is, any part of the body, there's no part of the body that can think. It is the space around the body that is used for thinking. But the common understanding is they say the brain has a capacity to think. The truth is, the brain can only think if it has data inputted, right? Like, example, you buy a computer, no data inside the computer, no program has been installed. You just switch on, you try to open the hard disk, you will see nothing in the file. Everything is empty. So there's no way you can use it for programming because nothing, no data, no program installed. It's just hard disk, but it is alive. So in this case, even though the computer has all the capacities, since there is no data inside, it cannot be used until data is inputted. The brain is something exactly similar. Until you have something recorded in the brain, and where does this recording come from? Through the senses, through the five sense organs, which collects data. One of the examples for collecting data can be, now I see a computer in front of me. Before I have access to know what this computer is, I need to know about it way before. So if you show me an object which I've never seen before, I will only relate it to the form. I will just see the form and then I will say, hey, it probably looks like that, which means I have a tendency to compare anything that I see with something I already know. Like if you show me something like a ball, I would say, this one looks like an apple, something like a ball. If I know something about the moon, I will say this is round, so it looks like a moon, right? So the brain understands it only with comparing whatever information, whatever new information it comes in, it tends to compare it with its old information. And if the old information is revealing something, it understands it. You know, it becomes sensible to think about it. If the person does not have any data connected with the soul, and if I'm talking about the soul right now, that will look like vague. You're not showing me how the soul look like. I don't know what is the soul. So you have a tendency to get confused because the brain does not yet have data connected with soul. In this case, the person who is conscious is the soul, right? Now, so which means the soul or the man is an intelligent entity which is capable of thinking. But then the body also has intelligence. The body has organs, right? Without giving specific instructions, the heart knows how to pump and function. The liver, the kidneys, the eyes, the brain, everything knows how to function. So it has intelligence. Now, that intelligence of the body is lower than the intelligence of the soul. That is called, it is subconscious mind. An intelligence that is lower than the consciousness is the soul. Lower than the consciousness of the man is called subconscious. Our thoughts and feelings are always embedded in the subconscious mind. So in the case of ordinary people, it is their thoughts and feelings which run the show for them. So they become enslaved by the thoughts, enslaved by the feelings, and they live exactly like animals based on what they think and what they feel. They forget they have tremendous power, the divine power, the divine love, the divine intelligence, and using this, they can create anything they want. That aspect is forgotten. In this case, the person is not conscious, even though the eyes are open. This is a new concept I'm presenting to you. When you have a medical doctor, he will say, if the person is admitted in the hospital, if the person is able to respond to whatever question the medical doctor asks, the doctor will say the person is conscious. If the person is not responding to any of the questions the doctor is able to ask, then he will say the person is not conscious. In this case, he's referring to the person as the body. Now we are separating the body and its intelligence from the person using the body or the man using the body. Are you getting this? Okay. Now, if man has intelligence, a man is a conscious entity which uses intelligence, then there are many kinds of intelligence, right? So we can divide the intelligence into two basic categories. One which is mental intelligence, another one is intuitive intelligence. Now the schools, the colleges, and then all the scientific study, they focus on mental intelligence. Example, the college.
Sir, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, we have given rights to the participants to unmute yourself. So if you want to interact with them, you can start interacting also.
Yes, sir. So far,
Yeah.
thank you for those questions.
Dr. Venkatesh? Dr. Venkatesh?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Sir, there is huge noise, sir. It will be uncomfortable for him. There is huge noise.
Thank you.
Yeah, madam. So we have, so due to some noise, we have unmuted once again, sir, to all the participants. I think we can go with the presentation. Then we can have shall we have some discussion, sir?
Fair enough, sir. Thank you.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you.
Now, I'm separating. The whole lecture is not connected with teaching you anything, my friends. The whole lecture is connected with presenting soul in a scientific manner. In other words, trying to understand our true nature, which I call it spiritual essence, right? Now, if man is a conscious thinking entity, then this intelligence can be of two kinds. One is mental intelligence, and then another one is intuitive intelligence. The mental intelligence is developed through learning, right? Using the analytical brain, which is what the schools are doing. The schools are trying to stimulate the learning process using developing the mind. Now, engineers are very good at that. Engineers and scientists are very good at that because to them, whatever they see is what they believe. Everything has to be measured, everything has to be quantified, everything has to be seen before it has to be believed. That is the nature of science and engineering technology. Anything that you cannot measure, anything you cannot quantify, literally there is nothing to study about it, at least on the physical level. Engineers struggle here. But the truth is, there is so much intelligence that is not visible. And it is this invisible intelligence that runs the whole show. Like we see the space through the telescope, and we see the universe and galaxies, but we do not see the creators of this universe and galaxies, which are invisible and they are actually obviously around. We see the physical body, we do not see the essence of man, which uses the body, right? So, to understand about something that is not yet physically seen, we need certain kind of intelligence which is guided by the light coming from above. So that is not necessarily information that is inputted in the brain before. To know something that you have never studied, there is a way to access it. Like how? Like in this scenario, in this world time, in the present world scenario, this is easy to talk about it because Wi-Fi gives you access to it. Wi-Fi is the energy that is around in this cloud or this space, and volumes of information which is not in my physical computer can be downloaded into my computer through this intelligence. Similarly, intuitive intelligence allows us to access information from the soul and then register in the brain. So there are technologies that are available to develop this intuitive intelligence and use this intelligence in a greater way. This is almost like GPS. Like if you're on the ground level, if you're looking at the road in front, it looks empty, right? But if you open up the GPS to find the way, it will say this road has a lot of traffic blocks. The question is, you could see as long as possible there is no sign of any traffic jam, but then 5 minutes later it shows traffic jam, which means the GPS system is designed to see from way above and then project the whole picture, not just a small picture, but the whole picture of the place that we are going to go. So it says if you use this road, you're going to get stuck in traffic. So that guides us to choose another route, which may be seemingly longer, but avoiding this traffic will be shorter. We can reach there faster, right? So there's an intelligence which tells you and shows you details of what we cannot see with our physical eye. Now that I call it intuitive intelligence. All or most of the major scientific inventions are created by this intuitive intelligence. You may ask this question, how can you say almost all the inventions are intuitive? I would strongly say it is true. Because if there are teachers who are knowledgeable, and if these teachers teach the students, sometimes the student becomes the scientist. The teachers who teach the scientists do not know these informations. So if all the learning has to come from the teachers only, or the books and the material available, how did these people invent something which is never taught to them in the school? So there is an intelligence that came in from above, which is guiding these people to see what the teachers did not see. That is intuitive intelligence. All creative thinking, I'm using the word all creative thinking comes out of intuitive intelligence. If you're not creative, then you already have it in your brain. And whatever you have in your brain, if you do, you know this already, there's nothing creative. To create something new which your mind cannot see, you need intelligence of greater order, and that is connected with the energy of the soul because it brings down this energy. That intuitive learning has to be infused in colleges and schools and in people so that they see problems or they see goodness before it happens, before it is shown to the physical eye. If they can see already, they can avoid major problems. Like, what are the problems we're talking about? Some of the problems can be health issues. Some of the problems can be relationship issues. Some of the problems can be financial issues. These financial issues can be seen, if only it can be seen way before actual event happens. We are far better than the financial uh, people or the engineers who become MBAs in financial analysis, and they help the companies do fantastically well. Now, earlier, engineers to get into financial situations was difficult. Now, with access to MBA, financial accounting, and other things, their knowledge on engineering can be added with the financial background. They can prevent many chaos that can happen to the company before it actually happens. That involves learning which you have never seen before. That is intuitive. That is intuitive. Okay. Without understanding the nature of the soul, to get intuitive intelligence is not possible. The question is, how do you say without understanding the soul, you cannot become intuitive? Because the person is the soul, the person is the soul. Without understanding how developed the soul is, how can you decide this person is intelligent or not? It's almost not possible, right? How can you know that you're intelligent without knowing you are the soul? If you don't know who you are, how can you call yourself intelligent? You may know the body, you may know how to use the body, but you're the one who's using the body. That you is the I am. Now, the energy of this allows you to understand that you are not just this physical body, but a being of intelligence, love, and power. So, in other words, people in the world have amazing excessive intelligence, excessive love, excessive power, or they have lack of love, lack of intelligence, lack of power. Now, this lack of intelligence or excessive intelligence becomes something like successful and not successful people. People who can display love, who already have tremendous amount of divine love in their system, they are shown as people who are able to understand and help humanity. People who do not have this excessive energy of love or this divine love in sufficient quantity, they lack love in a difficult situation. That's why they are cruel or do things in a terrible manner. So to make oneself understand how powerful they are, how intelligent they are, how loving they are, you need to know that you are that intelligent being which is made in the essence of God. Now, all this can be taught to you in a scientific manner by allowing you to think and feel and experiment, quantify. verify, validate, and then we can make you have your own conclusion on that. Okay. Now, here is a new topic I'm bringing into you. My idea of bringing these various topics like spiritual essence of man, man as a concept, then bringing the idea of intelligence, conscious and subconscious mind, mental intelligence and intuitive intelligence. Now, the concept of an idea, all this are not visible to the physical eye. So I'm just throwing something for the faculty that is listening to understand these are the most important areas of the life. Just because it is not seen to the naked eye, it is not been tapped. Okay, now look at this information and then please give me inputs. This statement which I say, the idea is an abstract information. More questions about this which are not answered by science. So what is an idea? Can anybody say that? Idea is a concept, right? A concept that is still not put in paper is still an idea. Now, this idea is so abstract that when you communicate the first time, it becomes like a new information to people. My question is, where does this idea come from? Which part of the body or the brain this idea came from? This is a question worth thinking about. Now, many of you will immediately try to jump into conclusion. The idea is not to say something. The idea is to think before you say. Now, when you think, do you have an idea where it comes from? Was it there in the brain before? I just wanted to ask this question. Now, if there is an idea, there must be a creator for this idea. Who created this idea? Is the organs of the body you? No. You are not the brain. You are not the hands. You are not the legs. You are not even the whole body. You are the one using your brain, using your hands, using your legs. That is the person or the man. So that man, did he create that idea? Right? So that idea, who creates it? Now, where is it recorded? Now, this everybody knows. Once you have an idea, it is recorded in the brain. If you have to remember the idea, it has to be recorded in the brain, right? So the brain is an amazing hard disk for a beautiful computer, the human body. If there is a brain, if there is a hard disk, then be somebody who uses the brain. The question is, who is using this brain? Okay, my question here is far more valid. Does the shape, size, and the chemistry of the brain differ in an intelligent person and an ordinary person? If you ask a medical doctor, they will say no. Based on the age group, the size of the brain and the chemistry of the brain does not change much. The electrical impulses, which we call EEG of the brain, of ordinary people, more or less, ordinary healthy people, more or less looks the same. If the brain is the same, if the information taught is the same, how is it certain people are smarter and the certain people are not smarter? I want the teachers to ask this question to every person in this room right now and then come back to us for further discussion. This point is so valid for the teachers. You have people who have the same brain, the same size, the same shape, the same chemistry of the brain. The person teaching the same class is the same who uses his or her brain. How is it people understand it differently? Then who is the one who's understanding? Is the brain or the soul, which has different capabilities? The soul has different development. That is what we fail to see. That is why we see the person belonging to a sage age group and we think all of us are uniformly smart. The truth is, it is not. The world right now has so many billions of people. All of them more or less look to have the same form, but their intelligence is different because the soul in each body is of different development, which is not taken into account when teaching these people. So if we have mentally retarded people, we see that as a deformity. We do not understand that it's a development of the soul, which makes the person experience. Even in the case of mentally retarded people, the brain does not have much, it does not show any big anomalies. The brain also is of the same shape and size. Until unless there's a very strong deformity, it does not show up in the brain as changes in the physical brain. It looks like the normal brain for any other person, but the intelligence is very, very different. Now, I want you to open up right now for the questions. And I have thrown you certain sample questions here about an idea. I'm saying idea is an abstract information which comes in the mind. Now, the mind is not inside the brain. The mind is inside and outside the body, right? The mind is inside and outside the body. If there's an idea that is floating up, that is why people, when they think about an idea, they look up and they saw a bulb on top. It's never inside the brain. Any person who shows the idea always shown as idea outside the body, light outside, meaning the person looks up and sees something. So there is energy and information in the space that is surrounding the body. That is called aura. So the human aura has the intelligence. That intelligence is used for producing thoughts and feelings. Volumes and volumes of information can be given in this discussion, and so much can be taught to improve your intelligence, develop intuitive intelligence, and develop the growth of the soul. We have volumes and volumes of information which can be presented in a scientific manner. Okay, so this is what I was wanting to share. Sir, I can wait for questions right now before I move further from here. I'll wait for questions, sir. Can people hear me? Is there anything naturally opposite aura? One question, is there anything naturally opposite aura? I am not able to understand your question, sir. What is the opposite of aura, is it? I don't know the question. Are the soul and aura the same? No. Okay, now, very good, sir. Thank you so much. Is the soul and aura the same? Now, it's like this. You have the body, which is made of atomic particles. Atoms have a radiation outside. That radiation around the body is called light. Aura is nothing but light around the body. The word aura means light around the body. The one who uses this light on the body is different from this radiance that comes from the physical body. Meaning of quote, I was born as a genius and education has ruined me. If you notice, most of the greatest scientists are not educated by teachers. In fact, they are chased away by the teachers. They did not finish school or did not finish college, or they thought they were super intelligent and the schooling system or the college system has got nothing to teach them. They know this already. Right? Some of the very intelligent people are considered as eccentric by the present world, and they became the greatest scientists. You know whom I'm talking about, right? Okay, Dr. Satish Kumar. do the soul evolve? Yeah, that is why it has intelligence. So every time it has intelligence, it comes in to gather experiences. When the experiences are used for its development, it shines. Its ability to radiate intelligence increases. The intelligence, the love aspect increases. The power aspect increases. That is why, if you look at great souls like Mahatma, they call it, right? Mahatma Gandhi. They,
Madhumaran sir,
yes, sir.
Madhumaran sir, two of the participants want to discuss with you. Shall I enable mic for them?
Yes, sir. Please.
Yes, sir. Uh, sir, Karthikeyan sir,
Questions, please.
sir, Karthikeyan sir, we enabled mic for you. You can interact with the keynote speaker, sir. Now you can interact with the keynote speaker, sir. Vibhinendran sir.
Sir,
Thank you,
good
sir.
morning, sir. Okay. Karthikeyan, sir, go ahead. Next, I will ask.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Madhivanan, sir, good morning. Sir, my question was, is there any person's energy will be naturally opposite? You said aura will have an energy, right? Energy around body.
Yes.
Two persons are there. Human beings' nature can be opposite. Is it possible?
Of course not, sir. If you have people who have intelligence and if you have people who have no intelligence, then they cannot coexist. If somebody is extremely loving and another one lacks love, obviously their ideas will be different. Because with love, you will want to help other people. Lack of love makes you get other things from people. You know, they steal, they harm, they smash people. That is extremely opposite. You're right. That's it.
Is there any
Sir,
possible that if a person is opposite, we are able to console them, or we can make something about our wavelength? Is it possible? So they are naturally opposite. We don't see sometimes in workplace also we have never met them, but we have some sort of differences. We won't talk to them. How to make something about what neutralize this energy differences?
Okay, that is the process we call evolution. Because some of the souls are young, some of the souls are old. The old souls are having so much experience. Now, since they have so much experience, this is very noisy, sir. So I'm just taking the earphone out. Later, when I listen to you, I will keep the earpiece again. It's so noisy for me. Okay. Now, in this case, uh, in this case, when you have people with different levels of development, meaning young souls with minimal experience, old souls with very high experience, the very highly developed soul will have display of display of patience, tolerance, understanding, and then it will be able to help. Even if somebody is trying to harm, they will still be able to help the person. That's based on the development of the soul. Now, a person who has less development cannot understand what this person is doing. Are you getting this? But in the process, you evolve into that.
sir, Madhivanan, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, excellent presentation, sir. So much of knowledge, this thing. I have a small advice if you can give me. I handle a subject called creativity and innovation. It talks about making students more creative at Anna University, main campus, and about 100 plus students register every year for that elective subject. It is very popular. And I teach them how to create new neural connections in the brain so that they can get more creative ideas. Now, how can this knowledge help me in enhancing, the teaching and taking it to the next level, sir, to make students more creative engineers.
This can be something amazing, sir. This thought process which you have taken up is something amazing. Yeah, but can you mute it again, sir? Because it's loud. Actually. Answer and then. Okay.
Good morning, sir. This is Dr. Malati from Sona College, sir. Can you hear me?
Can I answer the first question?
Hello.
Can I answer the first question from the anonymity question? Can you mute that right so I can really now?
Sir, you can answer, sir. I think there was some crosstalk. That is what you can answer, sir, please.
Okay, it's really loud. Okay, sorry about that. Now, sir, I forgot your name. Whoever asked that question.
Vipin. My name is Vipin, sir.
Vipin, sir. I really appreciate the question, sir. Now, this is something really beautiful for engineer to ask this question. That even makes it more interesting for me, because engineers are trained in a manner to see and believe, right? To measure and note and everything. But ideas are not created after seeing. Ideas are created in the imaginary plane before they could really think. Now, that has got nothing to do with the learning they have got. Of course, in order to manifest the idea, they can use the learning that they get from college. But to bring in intuitive ideas, that is different learning. Where there, you have to talk about something which is abstract, which is formless, right? The idea is put into a form as a plan or a design. The design is just like a symbol. When you explain the symbol, it becomes like words. So before it is coming into symbol, you have the idea. That's why you are able to draw. So when you say triangle, you know for sure I'm looking at 3 lines joining or meeting at certain angles. That's an example. So that before you draw, specify the angles, that idea of connecting 3 lines came in. That is an idea. So that is very abstract. It is formless. To understand this, we really have to understand the quality of the soul. And the quality of the soul is determined by the aura it radiates and the chakras it has. By understanding the size and the nature of the chakras, we can more or less say the capabilities of this person, the behavioral and the mood swings that the person can encounter, or how the person can be regulated. This can be understood, sir. I can give you a beautiful demo, live demo. I can even come to an university with your permission, and then I can tell you, you can give me names of few people, students, before seeing them. By looking at the chakras, I can tell them, sir, these people are capable of doing this. These people may struggle here. These people may not be harmonious with other people. They can create a lot of problems in the class. All these qualities, we can tell them, based on the nature of energy they have.
Wonderful, sir. I will definitely invite you and coincide it with the syllabus revision so that you can add some points to our syllabus of this creativity and innovative thinking.
This is beautiful, sir. This is how the evolution of the science would come in, actually.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Now, I request Malati madam to put her question.
Good morning, sir. This is Malati from Sona College, sir. And a very nice presentation and thought-provoking. The question is actually when people are in spirituality and having intuitive intelligence, they are not coming forward to become a leader of a country or a state or like that. If they come forward, still the people will be benefited with the ethics as well as whether this can be taught. Not only the spirituality, also they have to contribute for the development of the country in the right way, sir. the spiritual persons are happy with themselves, and they feel that, for example, Rajinikanth also, if you take, he is a very spiritual person, but he is not coming forward for ruling the country as well as for helping the society. Uh, what is the reason, sir, or how we can make it from the student life onwards, both becoming leader as well as in spirituality?
Very good. Now, in the democratic system, if you study what is necessarily good does not come up on top. What has numbers becomes victorious, right? You don't have to be intelligent in order to become a chief minister. You need to have X number of numbers to become chief minister. So the masses decide. Masses are not necessarily intelligent. Masses are following intelligent people. So the not so intelligent people are deciding in this case. So obviously they will decide based on what they want. So if you have a very highly intelligent person to run the masses, it will be disaster. People will throw them out immediately because their ideas will not be acceptable by ordinary people. That is why extremely intelligent people, they stay away from masses. And all great spiritual teachers, they do not teach masses because they will not understand what they are trying to say. That is why if you look at Bible, when Lord Christ taught the masses, it is always in parables, in stories. Mahabharata, only the stories are understood by people, not the essence behind the Mahabharata. The whole Mahabharata is connected with the development of the soul. Right? Nobody understands it. Everybody understands the fight and the story. And in Christianity also, everybody understands the stories but do not understand why the story was told, because the development is different. That is why in one of the teachings, when the Lord Christ was sharing this information to the masses, he went inside the room and then he gave a new explanation to the 12 disciples. So one of the disciples asked the question, Master, this explanation is amazing. Why did you not tell this to people there? He said, do not throw pearls to swines and dogs. They would not understand what we're talking about. Because the need is different. They're thinking they are the body. You give them food, they're happy with it. You know this in COVID-19 time right now. Everybody knows drinking can be dangerous. Look at the crowd. Look at the crowd in front of that shop which sells liquor. Is that sensible? Can people be taught not to drink? No. Even if millions of informations are projected to them, they do not understand. They are, I don't know whether to call it innocent or less developed. That is the problem actually. Now we need to gather a group of people who are extremely intelligent, and then we need to radiate this energy of intelligence before we get accepted by the masses. That is why we should join. People who are creative should join and decide this is how we'll show the world. A group of people should show the world this is productive, because the masses have a tendency to copy only. They do not create, they do not understand what they want. That is the problem.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
The whole lecture is not meant to teach anything new, sir. The whole lecture is to create a new thought process, to stimulate something for you to think, because you're already in a position of strength and intelligence, and you're taking ownership and responsibility in helping students. So there's nothing new that can be taught to people who are having a design already. I'm just adding a new idea so it can be made as a design and the future can change. I'm just adding a new idea, that's it.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So now I request Mr. Saravanan or Madam Renuka Devi Madam to unmute themselves and you can interact with the keynote speaker. Yes, sir, it is audible, but it is with the excessive noise, sir.
I can hear you, sir. Go ahead, please.
Sir, my question is whether only human beings will have the soul and aura, or all other living beings will have the soul and aura, and non-living things.
Sorry, it's not audible. Is it Satish Kumar sir who is asking the question?
Sir, whether the human beings only is having the soul and aura, or all the living things and the non-living things is having the aura and soul.
Okay, beautiful, sir. Thank you for the question. So we are in a
Sir,
scientific.
second question, what is the difference between them?
Okay, thank you. Okay, now, sir, we have to understand we're in a scientific forum here. We're not in a religious place here. So I will present it as a scientific information. So atom, molecules, and everything, the smallest thing that you can think about, both has a and a spirit. You can mute yourself, sir, so the noise can be. Can we mute all of them so we can unmute when they ask the question, sir? Thank you so much. Okay, now you have from the atom to any physical object. In order for the atom, the molecule to retain its shape, it needs consciousness. It needs spirit to embed and hold the matter together. So that spirit is life. So atom has intelligence. And anything that has intelligence, why do I say atom has intelligence? Because it chooses to interact with few other atoms to form molecules. All atoms do not join with every other atom randomly. It chooses, so it has intelligence. So from the tiniest atom to the tiniest cell in the body, which is the smallest structure in a physical body, has intelligence. In other words, it has consciousness. So the consciousness of the atom, the consciousness of the cell, the consciousness is embedded in the minerals, in the plants, in the animals, in the human beings are different or evolving entities, right? In the case of human beings, they are individualized entities. In the case of animals and plants, they are grouped together. One divine spark or one Paramatma has innumerable number of animals put together. They're called group souls. That is why the animals throughout the world will respond as groups. They will respond as groups. Example, a monkey in India and monkey in US, if you give them a same stimulus, will behave in a similar manner because their intelligence is grouped together. In the case of human souls, the individual reacts differently because it has a separate causal body. Unlike the group souls, these are individualized souls. So what you think and what you feel is based on your intelligence, your creativity. Nobody else is responsible. In this case, it becomes karma. So only human beings have karma. The rest of the animals and plants do not have individual karma because they do not think individually. They react and live in groups, herds. So the group get affected. In the case of human beings, it is individual. This is separate actually. Obviously, you said, are they same? No, they are not same because each one is evolving. Do you have questions?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good
This is
afternoon.
Dr. Renuka from Nitter, Chennai. Thank you for such a high-level presentation with very good clarity. It is an overwhelming session for us because I'm also into healing and training people on healing.
Oh.
Now I have 2 questions to you. Like now, if you understand the scenario for the past 1 decade, the children of today, especially, they discount all these things at first phase itself. Yes, sir. You agree?
Sometimes many discount. Some follow many discount.
Yeah, that is one thing. And with the current scenario, these are all very essential. So how do you feel? Means, because I want your experience so that see, for example, Professor Vipinendra and myself, we are all in the process of training teachers. So how the teachers can empower the students with all this knowledge. So do you have some advice, sir?
We have to work together, madam. This is extremely important discussion that you initiated, actually.
Yes, sir.
Because in the case of teachers, you have to understand that teachers are also very practical human beings who are making a living using the profession called teaching, right? It's like work for them. Okay, yes, so they have a family, they have children, so they have influence from the family and children, they have pressure, so they get psychologically, emotionally, they get either contaminated or they live happily when they come into the classroom. Madam, this is the most important thing, because when you're walking in the road and then imagine there's a bus that splashed dirty water on the teacher, and the teacher comes with a dirty shirt in front of the class, it will be smelly and it will infect the children that is listening, right? Exactly similar, the psychological nature of the teacher has a greater role in influencing the students, because they receive information, not just words, they receive energy. So this energy hits them and they receive something. So when the person is speaking, if the person is going through relationship problem, health crisis, or emotional crisis, that is also transferred to the students. That is so important. The psyche of the trainer, the psyche of the teacher has a greater role in infecting or healing the students in every conversation. So the trainers are so important, the teachers are so important in the present scenario. They can be of great inspiration or they can affect many people.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. We'll carry forward this advice. Thank you.
If we can set up a forum or some discussion to help, go through this training for teachers, that will be fantastic.
Sir, I will soon organize a program with you, sir, for the benefit of, because we organize national programs. So I will get in touch with you through Dr. Venkatesh, and I will arrange a program soon from NITR Chennai, so that the information can be transmitted and we can also be part of the process of this transformation, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Most appreciated.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Next, we would like to give opportunity to Professor Satish. You can unmute yourself and you can interact with the keynote speaker, sir. Professor Satish.
Satish, na? Myself, yeah. Hello.
Yes, you are audible, sir. You can proceed.
Yes, sir. Maran sir, I'm very much thankful to you because you have so polished lecture so that we feel like that you go on listening to you and there should not be any interpretation. What I feel is because so politely and so confidently you are speaking, delivering the information. It was really, because now we call a EQ, IQ, social quotient and spiritual quotient. Now it's badly needed to curb the mental stress. Spiritual quotient has to go up as people are thinking, and this whole organizing committee has chosen the subjects which are badly needed for the today's world.
Yes, sir.
Really, it is a spiritual question. Is badly needed, because until and unless you have a spiritual quotient is good, you will not be de-stressed mentally. Physical de-stressing is possible. You can take a bath, or you can have some steam bath, and you can de-stress yourself, or anything can. But mental distraction is badly needed for today's world, sir. And
Yes.
you're working on that is really, really appreciable, sir. Really. My question is, sir, spiritual quotient. What should be the spiritual quotient? So because of that, even though there is a stress, we can get rid of that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now, unfortunately, the word stress is understood in a very different manner by every other person who treats stress, sir. Now, nobody understands, or many people do not understand, that stress is a byproduct of the thinking.
Yeah.
Because there are people and companies in the world which think that without stress they cannot do business. So if that is a mindset, then they are accepting something which they don't want, right? They are trying to live with stress and say this is how it's going to be. The truth is, there are choices. You don't have to get involved into this, and you can have so much of peace and love instead of stress. So your quality of work changes. Now, in my case, if I look at it, stress is nothing but energy. Now, that energy is created predominantly, or in a majority of the cases, it is created by the mind, which wants something, but it sees something else in there, right? Like, for example, I want the temperature to be less than 20 here, but then if it is 35, 40 inside this room, I don't feel comfortable. But the truth is, it is 35 and 40. So what happens? I don't comfort this uncomfortable feeling. I say I get stressed up. I
Yes.
want something and I'm not getting it. The truth is, when you want something and you cannot change it, that is reality. Like it's hot sun in Chennai, you have to accept that this is how it's going to be. So once you
Yes.
accept it, there is minimal or no stress. But also, when you know stress is energy, you have a choice to disintegrate it and recreate it. Energy cannot be destroyed, but it can be disintegrated. It can be made less potent to the extent it will not affect you, and you can increase the quotient that is giving happiness to you. This is science. This is science at its best, and pranic healing teaches you exceptionally well to do it all by yourself, sir. That is fantastic. So stress as energy can be disintegrated.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because we are more attracted or interested in physical entities, and we are not understanding the soul. We are thinking of a body, and that is why there is a conflict, and that means there is a stress. What I feel.
Very true, sir. We are conveniently forgetting that every person is a soul of a different development. They look at the age group and they think all of them are intelligent in the same way. And all people are taught in the same manner, but the soul can be very young. That is why, if you look at it, sir, if you look at 100% of the society, only 20% is productive, sir.
Yes.
The rest 80% are people who are non-productive, and people who are successful are 20% of those 20. So only 4 people. So every time you teach 100 people, sir, you only get 4 good students, sir.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, sir.
That's how it is. And because of this information that is coming in, if we know there are souls of different development here, and they have different strength, and if you teach them appropriately, if you segregate them, if you understand the need, and if you teach them, you can probably increase these numbers from 4% to probably 20% or more. We can make the development faster.
Yeah. Yes.
Teaching one prescribed lesson to everybody, whether they like it or not, and then get less output from that. It's better to give choices and say, okay, let's think about, the system has to somehow evolve here.
Yeah. We have to more focus towards soul than a body.
Very true, sir. Then the lessons change. The teaching, you're not teaching the body anymore, the brain anymore. You're teaching the development of the true person, the true man, actually. Yeah.
and we have created a lot of unwanted requirements, and because of that we get disturbed and we get stressed. That is what the things happening in the world. Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm my EQ may be very less, but what I feel that I must salute you as well as organizer for arranging such a wonderful session, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Rumba thanks, sir.
Thank you, Sadish. Next, we would like to give opportunity to Mr. Sadish Kumar. Dr. Sadish Kumar, you can unmute yourself. Yes, Dr. Sadish Kumar,
Yes,
you
sir.
can unmute yourself and you can interact.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Namaste, sir.
Sir, I am very grateful to you, sir, because you have created a lot of insights in me today. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing team and the keynote person for making this wonderful experience today. Sir, my question is, which area we need to focus upon, sir? Whether we need to focus upon on improving our aura, or we need to move towards our soul, sir? Is there any what is the relation between this meditation, aura, and souls?
Thank you for the good question, sir. Sir, if you consider the physical body, if you can touch and feel it, now, depending upon the light of the soul, there is some radiance that comes out from the soul, which varies from people to people, sir. Okay? Can you visualize that? You just imagine you have a bulb.
Yes, I am able to.
100 watts, 1000 watts. So the radiance is different. Now, this radiant energy is called aura, right? So it has different layers. You have the inner aura, the health rays, the outer aura. So in the case of very normal people who are healthy, this aura is about 4.5 to 5 inches for an ordinary person. The word ordinary is somebody who does not understand who he is or she is. The person knows it, they know how to eat, sleep, live, multiply, die. They know how to make money. They can make a living on their own, just like any other animal. But they would not know the true essence of the soul. So in this case, that is 4.5 to 5 inches. Now, if this light is there, this light is constantly affected by their thinking and feeling, which is also energy. So if there are so many thoughts, then the aura gets contaminated. So in this case, the aura affects the health of the person. The aura affects the quality of the soul, because the soul is inside and outside the body. Are you able to understand this, sir?
Yes.
Just imagine a swimming pool. If you are inside the swimming pool, you get affected by the quality of water. So obviously, the aura that is inside and outside affects the soul. So your thinking and feeling affects the soul. Instead of evolving, the soul retrogresses because it thinks about negative things and it cannot do anything positive. Obviously, instead of moving forward, it goes back in energy. So our training is focused on understanding this, actually, making them feel that your life that is around you has connected to me like others.
Sir, not audible, sir.
Yes, very good. You can mute yourself, I can speak. Now, if this energy is constantly affected,
Sir, not audible.
Sir, your voice is not audible.
Yeah, thank you. Now, in this case, what I was saying right now is that your thoughts and feelings affect your energy field around you. Now, if you cannot take ownership of your own thoughts and feelings, this aura will be dirty. When the aura is dirty, the divine soul energy cannot flow inside properly. This is the cause for disease. The word disease is dis-ease. There is no ease for the soul energy to flow. That is called disease. The soul energy has a healing energy. If the soul energy reduces, the ability of the body to absorb prana is affected. So the health of the person is affected. By thinking your by thinking by changing your thoughts and feelings, you change the quality of energy of the aura. The aura can absorb more pranic energy. In this case, a person's thinking ability changes, the quality of the soul changes. So we need to focus on this, sir, and we need to teach people to be responsible for their own aura. We cannot change people, it's difficult, almost impossible. Until you ask them to take ownership of their own aura, to teach people to change character is almost impossible.
In what way the meditation helps on all these things?
Meditation is good, provided it is guided and if it is understood by the person who's meditating. Because meditation can be a flip side, negative point also for people who are negative. When I say negative, if there are so many negative thoughts and feelings in the aura, and if you ask this person to meditate, the person will become a worse person, a disastrous person. The question is why? Meditation only enhances what you have inside, sir. I'll give you an example. If the computer that you have has virus and you put a new program in, the program and the computer will get smashed depending upon the nature of the virus, right? So you will not install a new software. If you have virus in the system, you will clean up first. In the case of meditation, it has to be done like this. Before you do meditation, your aura has to be cleaned. That's why they say, enter the temple after you forgive, or you wash yourself and then go to see the temple. Washing in the sense is cleaning. So cleaning your thoughts and feeling is so important before you meditate. That is why in pranic healing, we teach you how to clean the aura first before we teach you meditation. So only the good qualities magnified.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
I'll give you a nice example, sir. So look at the situation in politics before. There are people who believe in God. There are people who do not believe in God. I have seen so many people who do not believe in God help thousands and thousands of people. But people who are believing in God would say that their religion is the only good religion and they may even harm the other religion people. This can be disastrous. They know God is the same for everyone, but they're fanatical. That fanatical is so strong, so when they meditate, it becomes worse. They become disaster people.
No. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sadish. So if still any of the participants want to interact with the keynote speaker, you can post your question.
I have one slide to show you. This is only to lead you into another reference point. I'm not included my number here. I'll just give you, if these questions are be answered and further exploration of how whatever you're doing exceptionally well can be fine-tuned, sir. Training of very good kind can be done. And answers to these questions can be achieved here. The one program I suggest all of us should take is Achieving Oneness with the Higher Soul. We can even train you. We can come to your school. We can train the teachers. College, we can come and train your college professors first initially. We'll make it so scientific to make you believe that pranic healing is so important for the evolution of the soul. And we can take it up from there. I have given you two numbers, one for Chennai and one for Salem. This can be a reference number. You can note this down. I belong to the group which is called Light Workers. And we have a lot of new, how do I say that? I have an, can you see the slide?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. Now, I have a channel name called New Age Light Workers, sir. If you can if you can write down the new age light workers. I'll just try to type it
Sir,
here.
yeah, even you can post the message in the chat box, sir, so that the participants can take a note of it.
Just a minute, sir. This is new age light workers. Now, moment you type this in the YouTube channel, we have a lot of information about more than 1,000 videos, all small ones, sir, 5 minutes to 15, 20 minutes. There's a range of playlists that is available. Can you see that? New age light workers?
Sir, still it is not posted in the chat box.
Okay, you want me to post it in the chat box, is it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, new age light workers.
Sir, yeah, it is available, sir, now.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Arvind, sir, thank you. Now, this has a lot of information about pranic healing, pranic psychotherapy. It gives you it gives you information which can be a nice eye opener for the morning. It comes every day 6 o'clock. It gives a lot of information on just for 5 minutes. We just read certain quotations and then we explain it. And there are innumerable informations which can trigger so much of interest. This can be helpful, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes. I hope all interested participants so they can just browse through the YouTube channel that our keynote speaker has posted. The name of their channel is New Age Light Workers. You can browse through YouTube, and so as told by Professor Madhimaran sir, so they are posting some novel information right from 6 a.m. So you can please make a note of it. Yes, at this outset, I would like to thank Dr. Madhimaran sir for spending his most valuable time. Why I am insisting this point means, so his calendar is always busy because I know about him personally. So 24 into 7 into 365, his calendar is completely blocked. In fact, we have been requesting him for the past 2 to 3 months to give us his valuable schedule despite of his completely blocked programs in his personal calendar. So as the coordinator of this program and on behalf of our entire management of Sona College of Technology and our own department, that is mechanical engineering, as well as our organizing team, and on behalf of all the participants, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Madhimaran sir for giving us a very enriched speech about the topic, that is essence of a man. In fact, this particular topic under his presentation would have provoked and what to say, might have enlightened your thoughts and your perspective may go on a different path after hearing his very wonderful speech. In fact, it is really great, sir. So thank you very much for sparing your valuable time, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Looking forward to meet most of you, sir, if not all of you at some point of time. So not necessarily to change anything around you, but just put more ideas so we can work together for betterment of students and the society.
Yeah, sure, sir. We can have your we will have your words, and we will share the details with the participants. So interested participants, they may contact you personally, in which you are given 2 mobile numbers. So interested participants, they can directly contact you, sir, and further you may direct them how to take up the program and everything.
I'll give you my number just in case if somebody really wants to call regarding something
Yeah, if
connected.
you wish, yeah, if you wish, you can post it in the chat box, sir.
Yeah, that's my number. But we can use it
Sir.
for creative conversations. Sir.
Definitely, I hope all the participants will call you only for some constructive conversations, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much once again.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity for making this possible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are honored, sir. We are honored and we are very much delighted to have you, sir.
Thanks. Good luck, everybody, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Dear participants, so now what to say, we can have a break for about 15 minutes, okay? And the next session, so next session will exactly, I think now it is 11:55, so we can start the session exactly by 12:15, okay? We can start the session exactly by 12:15. The speaker of next session will be Dr. Maheshwaran. He has already handled the previous session. He has explained about programming your subconscious mind and changing your mind. So in today's session, he's going to give some live demo how you can energize, how you can cleanse, how you can balance and energize yourself. That is your aura, your place, and any object. And suppose if you are taking a pen or even your shirt, belt, whatever it may be, if you are going out for one auspicious occasion or some important occasion, so you can use his teachings in such a way that your products, as well as you and your products, can be completely cleansed and energized. Yeah, you can have your tea break. So let us resume the session by 12:15. Thank you very much.
சத்தியமடி மேலொடும் தத்துமையிலேறிடும் சண்முகா உனக்கு குறையும் உலகோ முருகா உனக்கு குறையும் படிவேலொடும் தத்துமையிலேறிடும் சண்முகா உனக்கு குறையும் உலகோ சக்தி வடிவேலொடும் தத்துமையிலேறிடும் சண்முகா உனக்கு குறையும் உலகோ முருகா உனக்கு குறையும் உலகோ ஏன் இப்படி கோவணத்துடன் கண்டு கொண்டு இங்குற்றோர் ஆண்டியானா முருகா நீ ஏன் இப்படி கோவணத்துடன் கண்டு கொண்டு இங்குற்றோர் ஆண்டியானா எமது வினை படிபடவும் அல்லவோ வந்து நீ இப்படி இங்கு இருக்கலாம் என் ஆசாம் அப்பன் அன்னையாம் என்னவும் எண்ணினேன் தருவையறு பழனி மலையில் சந்ததம் குடிகூட சங்கரன் கும்பிடும் என் தண்டபாணி 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 தெய்வமே
அவ்வையே, நீ கூறும் சமாதானத்தை நான் எப்படி ஏற்றுக்கொள்ள முடியும்? அம்மையப்பனிடமிருந்து ஒரு பழத்தை பெற எனக்கு அருகதை இல்லையா? எனக்கு அந்த பழம் தரக்கூடாதா?
பழம் நீயப்பா, ஞான பழம் நீயப்பா, தமிழ் ஞான பழம் நீயப்பா, பழம் நீயப்பா, ஞான பழம் நீயப்பா, தமிழ் ஞான பழம் நீயப்பா. சபை தன்னில் திருச்சபை தன்னில் உருவாகி உலவோர்க்கு பொருள் கூறும் பழனியப்பா, ஞானப்பழம் நீயப்பா, தமிழ் ஞானப்பழம் நீயப்பா. கண்ணோடு கனலாய் வந்தாய், நெற்றி கண்ணோடு கனலாய் வந்தாய், ஆறு கமலத்தில் உருவானின்றாய், ஆறு கமலத்தில் உருவானின்றாய், கார்த்திகை பெண்பாலுண்டாய், திரு கார்த்திகை பெண்பாலுண்டாய், உலகன்னை அணைப்பாத திருமேனி ஒரு சேர்ந்த தமிழ் ஞான பழம் நீ அப்பா. ஊருண்டு பேருண்டு உறவுண்டு சுகமுண்டு உற்றார் பெற்றாரும் ஊருண்டு பேருண்டு உறவுண்டு சுகமுண்டு உற்றார் பெற்றாரும் உண்டு. நீருண்ட மேகங்கள் நின்றாடும் கையிலையில் நீ வாழ இடமும் நீருண்ட மேகங்கள் நின்றாடும் கையிலையில் நீ வாழ இடமும் தாயுண்டு மனம் உண்டு, தாயுண்டு மனம் உண்டு, அன்புள்ள தந்தைக்கு தாழாத பாசம் உண்டு. தத்துவம் தவறென்று சொல்லவும் வருவையில் தமிழுக்கு உரிமை உண்டு. ஆறுவது சினம் கூறுவது தமிழ் அறியாத சிறுவனானி, ஆறுவது சினம் கூறுவது தமிழ் அறியாத சிறுவனானி, மாறுவது மனம் சேருவது இனம் தெரியாத முருகனானி, மாறுவது மனம் சேருவது இனம் தெரியாத முருகனா நீ எருமையில் ஈசனிடம் நாடு எருமையில் ஏறு ஈசனிடம் நாடு இன்பம் காட்டவா நீ ஏற்றுக்கொள்வார் கூட்டிச் செல்வேன் என்னுடன் ஓடிவானே என்னுடன் ஓடிவானே.
பாட வைத்தேனே பாட்டும் நானே பாவமும் நானே பாடும் உன்னை நான் பாட வைத்தேனே பாட்டும் நானே பாவமும் நானே. கதை சொல்ல வந்தாயோ வைத்தேனே பாட்டும் நானே பாவமும் நானே அசையும் பொருளில் இசையும் நானே அசையும் பொருளில் இசையும் நானே ஆடும் கலையில் நாயகன் நானே அசையும் பொருளில் இசையும் நானே ஆடும் கலையில் நாயகன் நானே எதிலும் இயங்கும் இயக்கம் நானே எதிலும் இயங்கும் இயக்கம் நானே எல் இசை நின்றால் அடங்கும் உலகே நான் அசைந்தால் அசையும் அகிலமெல்லாமே நான் அசைந்தால் அசையும் அகிலமெல்லாமே அறிவாய் மனிதாவும் ஆணவம் பேரிடா நான் அசைந்தால் அசையும் அகிலமெல்லாமே அறிவாய் மனிதாவும் ஆணவம் பேரிடா ஆடவாயனோடு பாட வந்தவனை பாடுவாயை வந்ததொரு பாட்டும் நானே பாவமும் நானே பாடும் உன்னை நான் பாட வைத்தேனே பாட்டும் நானே பாவமும் நானே பதி சரி 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 தனி தப்ப மகரி சமகரி பமகர பமகரி மக பமர பமதனிதா झुमक झुमक जन झुमक जन झुमक झुमक बिंधा बिंधा आ झुमक झुमक बिंधा इंदा सगरी ग सरी नी दरी नी दा दरी दनी दब मा बनी दरी Katapari, takita jenu tari, ini tak angri kita. Gari magari tari ga. Tajam, tari kita. Ni tari gama. Dum kita. Gari sa. Tari kita. Padani. Giri giri, saga giri maga ga pa pa ma da pa pa ri maga pa pa ra pa ni da sa ni ri saga ri